Eli. Grandma has Bear again. He's going to read a book with us. Little Pond in the Woods. Let's see. Look at that. Isn't it pretty? All right. By Muriel Ward. You see? Deep in the woods was a little pond. Its water was blue, blue when the sky was blue. The sun made yellow paths on it, bright, sparkling yellow paths that danced up and down when the breeze ran past. Near the edge of the pond were tall reeds. They were green and slender. The breeze made them bend over and sometimes even made them dip their heads into the water. When it did that, the breeze made a little whistling sound in the reeds. The ducks liked the reeds. They swam in and out among them. When the mother duck quacked to say there was danger, the baby ducks stayed very still in the reeds, and no one saw them. On the other side of the pond grew the water lilies. They opened their white petals to the warm sun. Butterflies dipped down to suck their honey. A frog sat on a lily pad waiting for the flies and mosquitoes to buzz past. When they did, the frog stuck out his long tongue and caught them and ate them. Often he jumped into the water to have a nice cool swim. Blue irises grew between the rocks by the shore. There they are, those pretty flowers. Bees zummed from one to the other, gathering sweet honey. A big old tree grew close to the edge of the pond. It leaned out over it as if to see itself mirrored in the water. In its branches sat a bird. Cedar Waxwing was his name. He darted out of the fast-moving wings to catch insects that flittered over the pond. Then he would dip down for a drink of water. A squirrel chased up and down the tree trunk, gathering the little cedar cones from his storehouse. See, Grandma and Eli see squirrels when we're in our woods, don't we? A bunny nibbled the sweet green grass that grew in the low spot by the big fallen log. That log reached far out into the water. The big black bear walked along it when he came into the pond to catch and eat some fish. Look at that big bear. I see some fish. In the cool of the evening, the deer came for a drink of clean water. Ooh, look at that. So pretty. The pond belongs to them, to the duck, the butterfly, the frog, the bird, the bee, the squirrel, the bunny, the bear, and deer. They all loved it very much. The summer was hot, very hot. No rain fell. The sky was always blue. The sun shone every day. The pond wished the sky would turn gray, for then rain would fall. But it didn't. It was still very hot. The pond grew smaller, for the hot sun dried up the water. No rain fell into the pond. The pond was no longer deep enough for the ducks to swim, for the frogs to swim. The lilies and the iris drooped and withered. There was no honey for the bee or the butterfly. There were no fish for the big black bear. The grass the bunny liked to eat turned brown and dry. Still, it was very hot. No rain fell. Then one day when the deer came for a drink of water, there wasn't even a drop to wet his tongue. Oh no, the ponds all disappeared. What shall we do? Asked the deer. The cedar waxwing called from his high perch as if to say, yes, what shall we do? Grump, echoed the frog. What shall we do? Zum, sighed the bee. What shall we do? From the other side of the dried up pond came an excited quack. I know, said the duck, waddling over. Far over the trees is a great big lake. I've seen it when I've flown here from the Southland. It is so big across and so full of water that it won't be dried up. We'll go there. I'll lead the way. Oh, how exciting. Grump, complained the frog. I can't fly. But you can hop, said the bird. I'll fly from the treetop to treetop. I'll watch the duck and tell you which way to hop along the ground." "I'll go," thumped the bunny, and he started out over the brown grass. The deer darted ahead of him of the cedar sidewalks and flew to the top of the tree. "Quack! We're off," said the duck, rose high in the air. "All right," grumbled the frog as he trailed after the bunny. This way," the bird called from the treetops. "We're coming." The bee flew ahead of the deer. Behind him came the bunny, and the grumpy frog came last at all. The squirrel scurried after him, scolding. "Where are you going? Where are you going?" "To find water," panted the deer. "There isn't a drop to drink in the pond." I know," scolded the squirrel. "All my cones are shriveled up. I'm coming too." So he joined the procession. "What's happening?" His head swayed from side to side. The bear. We're going to find the lake," zummed the bee right in his ear. "The pond is dried up. The flowers have dried, and there is no honey." "I know, and no fish either. I'll go too." He turned and took his place in front of the deer. "I'll follow the bee. I can follow a bee anywhere." Come on," called the bird from the treetop, "or we'll lose the duck." So on they went. The duck led the way, the bird guided the others, the deer, the bee, the bear, the butterfly, the bunny, the squirrel, and last of all, the grumpy frog. We're so excited. It's going to happen. It was a long way. The path was rough. The woods were dry, and it was very, very hot. They were tired. They were panting. They were puffing. They were grumping. Suddenly, there was a great commotion overhead. The duck was back flying above the tree where the bird was perched. I found it, quacked the duck. "There is water there, plenty for all, and grass and flowers, too. Come on, it's not far now. Hurry, hurry." The duck circled around and flew off. This way," chirped the bird. The procession hurried on. The woods they passed through now were green. After a while, through the trees ahead, they could see the blue of the lake. The sun was sparkling on it. They had found water at last. The duck was swimming when they reached the shore, and the bird was dipping up the water in his bill. The deer waded into the cool waves and put his hot nose way down into them. The bear slid off a log with a splash. He was so eager to catch fish. The bee and the butterfly went to the nodding flowers. The bunny nibbled the sweet green grass. The squirrel chased up a tree after the fat cones. Finally came the frog. He took a last big jump and plopped into the deep water. Ooh, can't get this page. Water, water, water! How good it was! How cool, how soft, how wet. For many, many days they stayed there, enjoying the lake. There was water for swimming and wading and drinking. There was cool shade and green grass, but it was not home. They still missed the pond. Then one day the sky grew gray. Dark clouds hung low. They came closer. Then big raindrops started to fall. Plop, plop. They looked like corn popping when they hit the water. Rain, rain, rain. Then one morning the sky cleared. It was blue again. The water was blue too. The sun shone and made the dancing ripples sparkle. From high over the trees, the duck swerved down to the lake with a loud whirl of wings and excited quacking. The pond is full again. I've seen it. The rain brought water to our pond. Let's go back again. The bird heard. So did the deer. So did all the others. They were happy, for they loved their little pond best of all. Let's go, the deer pranced about in the tall waving grass. I'm ready, zoomed the bee. Just one more cone. The squirrel scurried up a tree. I suppose I'll go too, grumbled the frog. So off they started, as before. The duck led the way. The bird watched the duck. He flew from treetop to treetop and guided those going through the woods. There was the bee, followed by the bear. Next came the deer, who carried the delicate butterfly on his back. Behind him hopped the bunny. The squirrel scurried up after him, and last of all came the grumpy frog. There's the grumpy frog. Thus back through the woods they went. It seemed a shorter path now. It was green, it was moist, it was cool. At the end they came to the pond, their pond, the pond they loved. It was gleaming and bright, smiling a joyous welcome to them all, to each and every one, to the duck and the bird, to the bee and the bear, to the butterfly and the deer, to the bunny and the squirrel, and last of all, the grumpy frog. Oh, look at, they're all so happy again. The end. Did you like it, sweetheart? That was a long one. Love you. Have a great day. Mwah!